Alright, I got one for you today, guys. The forgotten builders and the coming collapse of the computer industry. I know everybody thinks it's too big to fall, too big to lose, too big to disappear, but you ever notice how every tech gold rush ends in the same way? With not with innovation, not with progress, but with wreckage and piles of dead manufacturers who got left behind? We've seen this movie before. And right now, the AI gold rush is setting up for the exact same ending. Let me show you. Back in the mid 70s, CB radio was the craze. Everyone wanted one, everyone was buying one. Manufacturers were pumping out units like there was no tomorrow. And then regulations changed. The FCC expanded the legal channels from 23 to 40. Sounds small, right? Not a big change, not a big problem. But that one decision instantly made every radio in every warehouse and in every retail outlet obsolete. Nobody wanted them anymore. Nobody wanted those 23 channel radios. Companies were sitting on billions in unsellable stock. Retailers collapsed. Manufacturers collapsed. The entire industry died almost overnight. Not because the demand disappeared, but because the people building the hardware, they got blindsided. And that's the pattern. The gold rush curse. Every gold rush has the same problem. Everyone chases the hype. Everyone forgets the infrastructure. Everyone assumes the foundation will magically keep up. And then the foundation collapses. The CB radio industry is just one example. We've seen it with home stereos, VCRs, pagers, early mobile phones, MP3 players, 3D TV, VCR headsets, crypto mining rigs. And every time, the same mistake. The hype gets all the attention, the manufacturer gets left behind, holding the bag. And now it's happening again. Well, this time it's happening on a large scale. I mean, huge. Think about what the commerce on the internet alone is worth in a single day. Enough to crush several small nations every day if the entire industry collapses. Look, the AI gold rush today, every headline is the same. OpenAI is partnering with X, Anthropic is partnering with Y, Google launches new models, Nvidia hits $1 trillion. But nobody, and I mean nobody, is talking about the companies that actually build the machines. Dell, HP, Lenovo, Asus, Acer, MSI, Supreme Micro, Supermicro, Foxconn, Pegatron. These are the companies that make the physical world AI run on. Right now, they're being treated like background noise, just like the CB radio manufacturers in '76. The danger of AI consuming the industry. Here's the scary part. The AI gold rush, it's so intense that GPU demand is draining the budgets. PC innovation has stalled. Consumer hardware is being ignored. Manufacturers are shifting to AI servers only. Companies are overproducing based on hype. Governments are drafting AI laws without understanding hardware. This is the CB radio collapse all over again, but on the $1 trillion scale, trillions of dollars scale. The regulatory shift, the energy rules, the export restrictions, the security requirements, and suddenly the entire hardware line becomes obsolete overnight. Warehouses full of unsellable machines, companies collapsing, jobs disappearing, supply chains breaking, and the AI companies, they'll be fine. Their software, the hardware world will take the hit. Except when the hardware world takes a hit, I didn't run that software. Anyway, there you go. That's what they're not thinking about. Where computer industry is headlines, if it industry is heading, if this continues. If the current trend keeps going, here's the future. Fewer PC manufacturers, only the biggest will survive. Everyone else gets wiped out. No innovation in consumer hardware. Why build better laptops when all the money is in AI servers? Except, who's going to use those AI servers if you're no longer building PCs? Massive overproduction of AI hardware. Just like the CB radio industry. Warehouses full last year of models and GPUs nobody wants anymore. Regulatory shockwave. Governments will eventually step in with energy limits, cooling standards, security chips, on-device AI rules. And just like the CB radio channel expansion, this could instantly obsolete billions in hardware. A global hardware collapse. If manufacturing gets hit with unsellable inventory, shrinking margins, rising costs, sudden regulation, we could see the biggest hardware crash since 2001, dot-com bust. AI companies become the new gatekeeper. If hardware collapses, AI companies become the only players left standing. That's the opposite of digital sovereignty. This is why personal digital sovereignty and national digital sovereignty matter, because if hardware industries collapse, individuals lose choice, nations lose independence, companies lose control. Everything becomes centralized. I know it might sound good that if a $7.9 trillion, which is what the commerce on the internet is worth daily, weekly, as you look at it, it may sound good to say, hey, Toys R Us will come back, this will come back, that'll come back. Guess what we don't have in the world today? We do not have that infrastructure. We have a lot of dead rotting walls, and a lot of stores that used to be and used to was and has-beens, and who really wants it at this point? The world has advanced beyond that. Okay, so nothing's going to reappear because the world itself doesn't have the infrastructure for that any longer. It doesn't have the stomach for it, the money for it, or the infrastructure. So you're going to lose all those jobs, all that income. It's more than the whole AI industry is worth at that rate. Per day, per week, per month, per year. Add it up. It's more than whole nations. I mean, yeah, the U.S. has a $38 billion deficit and a large GDP, but you look at all the European countries, look at all the Asian countries, some of the Middle Eastern countries, the actual income lost from the collapse of the internet, which is what happens if the computer market collapses. It's huge. It's a big dent in the world. A lot of job losses, a lot of everything lost. You're talking more than the Great Recession there. Individual choices, nations lose independence, companies lose control, everything becomes centralized. AI companies become the new infrastructure. And once that happens, you don't have your own device, you don't have your own data, you don't have your own computers, you don't have your own digital life. That is where everything rented, everything is service, because at that point, AI takes over and your computer will simply boot from online. You just simply have a device that your router will be your computer because you have to rent your computer online. Basically what it is. You turn on your router and you're online. There's your computer. There's your AI. That's what's left of the internet. You don't own your own computer anymore. You don't own your own digital life. All your stuff is in the cloud, even your computer. You pay for it daily, monthly, weekly, yearly. You're just renting access to someone else's system. That's the end game if it continues. The CB radio collapse wasn't just a weird moment in history. It was a warning. A warning about what happens when hype outruns hardware. It was a warning about what happens when manufacturing gets ignored. It was a warning about what happens when regulations blindside industries. And right now, the computer industry is walking down that path. And if we don't fix this, if we don't protect and protect the builders, if we don't fight for the digital sovereignty, then the next collapse won't be CB radios. It will be the entire computer industry. Those are the facts. Like, follow, and subscribe. We'll bring you more. Have a good day. Bye-bye.